What a travesty! At the time of publishing, Wally West had only recently escaped from Dan Didio's dungeon only to be thrown into a story like this. And with equally controversial artwork that I can sometimes stand behind, this is the story of Heroes in Crisis. Booster Gold and Harley Quinn walk into a diner. She offers her patronage just to secure a knife to murder him. Booster takes to the skies, but the nutjob attacking him is on a strict no bug-eating diet because my boy Clay can only illustrate a single physique. If Minecraft has taught me anything, it's that there's no fall damage if you land on water. Booster accuses her of killing all those people back there, and she counters with the same accusation against him. While they're pointing fingers, the Trinity investigates the Sanctuary massacre. Arsenal and Flash are among the casualties, and there's a cryptic message on the wall saying the puddlers are all dead. Sanctuary was built as a facility to help heroes, not kill them, and throughout this book, you'll see confessions from various heroes during their stay in Sanctuary. While examining a victim, Batman explains whatever happens in Sanctuary stays in Sanctuary. The whole point is to create a safe space for heroes to explore their traumas away from the prying eyes of the public. As such, any and all data collected is immediately deleted. He should know because he's been there. The Trinity pinpoint Harley's location, but she somehow gets the upper hand on Batman of all people and then escapes by escaping. Booster asks himself, what would Batman do? There's potentially some merit in the clown's words in that maybe he's so insane he doesn't remember a thing. In any case, he's going to solve this mystery, starting with the man who does forensics for a living. When Barry hears about Wally, and after confirming his story all on a single page, he gives Michael a mild concussion. At the Daily Planet, Lois receives a video of Arsenal's confession talking about his troubled past. Stay tuned for more Heroes in Crisis. Signed, The Puddlers. You're probably wondering what treatment looks like at Sanctuary, and if you're not, well, you should be. To answer that question, we turn to Booster Gold, who just got off the Uber 5 minutes ago. The creepy Westworld caretakers show him to his room, and the magic happens once you don the mask, transporting you into an immersive VR experience where you can do and say whatever. Michael isn't known for his creativity, but he knows a stress reliever when he sees one. Lagoon Boy was attempting to overcome his near-death experience from the pages of Titans, or whatever book he's in. As for the fastest man alive, he's just lonely. Ever since his return to the DC universe, he's been without Linda and the kids. An alarm summoned everybody to the exit, and that's when Lagoon Boy failed the QuickTime event and joined the rest of the bodies. Furthermore, Wally was holding onto Roy until he was acquainted with Harley's giant hammer. Booster Gold wonders if cleanup on aisle 4 is part of the experience, or if he's on the dark side of YouTube again. The Caped Crusader won't admit it, partly because it's not within his vocabulary, but Flash and Batman are no closer to figuring out this mess. Wonder Woman interrogates Booster Gold, who simply regurgitates the last issue. Ted is having a very difficult time believing his friend Michael is even capable of killing anybody. No offense. So how about they work together and figure out who's really behind this? Diana knocks over a giant penny when she finds out Booster fled from custody, and Clark is too distracted with what Lois said to him a few nights ago to care. Somehow, the Sanctuary confessions returned. Surfaced, I mean. Someone is sending Lois those videos of Heroes in Crisis, and this is when Superman pulls an Ozymandias by informing them that she already published her story on Sanctuary 35 seconds ago. So much for the facility's anonymity. She at least had the decency to keep their identities a secret, and I suppose Harley's version of a Blue Beetle is Batgirl because they both start with a B? The ladies are about to show Skeets what it's like to feel fear for the first time, unless of course, the drone volunteers Booster's location. Speaking of Michael, they devised the dumbest plan ever called doing the same thing twice. He simply walks into Flash's lab to borrow some evidence, only he's been outfitted by Cord Industries. Although his empty-headed peanut brain doesn't know much, he does happen to know a thing or two when it comes to time travel. He's in the middle of explaining how this Wally West is 5 days too old when the nutjob shows up to massacre him. Elsewhere, Superman makes an executive decision to hold a press conference addressing the existence and purpose of Sanctuary. In short, it's to help heroes recover from their pain so they can continue to fight for truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Narc envies the days when all he had to worry about was the dinner menu. However, it was also a constant fight for survival, so maybe he's better off now. Poison Ivy snuck in a +1 who then decided to become the main character of her narrative. They slaughter a pile of jokers until Ivy heads out to investigate the alarm. Regarding Wally, everybody embraced his return but never asked how he felt. What hope was there for the Flash without his family? Without Linda, Jay, and Iris? We're still unsure as to what exactly transpired, but something happened, and then Sanctuary was littered with bodies. Just as before, the fastest man alive was holding onto his friend, but this time he's eviscerated by Booster Gold when Harley enters the room. The nutjob clown and the loser from the future slug it out for what feels like an eternity. He eventually admits he's always been a failure, and if he really did kill all those people as Harley is gaslighting him into believing, fine. But Harley can't bring herself to do it because she already traded in her supervillain starter pack. They all agree Wally is still alive and needs their help, and with that, the self-proclaimed competent righteous superheroes are on a mission to save the world. Somewhere, Wally casts a shadow onto a field of flowers. With a snap of his fingers, Poison Ivy blossoms back into the world. He sincerely apologizes like a fellow Canadian for all the hurt he's caused, and standing opposite to them is another Flash waiting to kill him. Wally really struggled with his loneliness, and despite constant reassurance from Sanctuary that other heroes were experiencing the same hardships, he just couldn't believe it. The fastest man alive then got the bright idea of reassembling the data faster than it was being deleted, just to prove this whole setup wasn't smoke and mirrors. In that instant, Wally was overwhelmed and broken by the pain and suffering of all the heroes in crisis, leading to his loss of control over the Speed Force. He then transformed into a psychopath and begun organizing a crime scene at near light speed. Booster and Harley made for the perfect scapegoats, seeing as they never left their chambers for whatever reason. With a reprogrammed experience, they were shown what Wally wanted them to see. Finally, he would kill his future self so he could plant a body. In the 5 days since, he hopes he's done enough to atone for his sins in addition to finally telling the truth. The main characters track down Wally to Sanctuary, but first, the gang poses for a photo by flexing muscles I didn't even know existed in the human body. Quinn looks to the side and embraces her BFF, who respawns back into her life. Wally is on the brink of tears for what he's about to do, but the other Wally just says to him he's not alone, both figuratively and literally. I'm not even going to pretend to know which Flash is which. Wally's play by sending Lois the Sanctuary confession videos was to raise awareness about mental health. Heroes are no different from the rest of society, often facing the same traumas and problems as any other person would. Hopefully, this would encourage others to get help so that nobody walks the same path he did, which is why the sponsor of this video is BetterHelp. No, I'm just kidding. After a few more pages of feeling sorry for himself, he essentially talks himself out of it like a CW show. Michael wraps it up with a lecture on time travel, how Wally doesn't need to keep killing himself to maintain the integrity of the time stream, and the next steps in preventing another flashpoint. Ultimately, the fastest man alive must answer for what he's done. Make of this what you will, I'm just a messenger.